What'd she say?
She said recording in progress.
All right. So
All right.
are we ready?
Mm-hmm.
Suppose so.
3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody to That's Weird Stuff, our show of the bizarre and strange. As always, I have Michael, Jared, and Thomas with me. Well, as always, last time Jared wasn't here
He was
because he
abducted.
got abducted. Jared, how did that go?
Uh, Better than you think, but
Oh, whoa!
but not as great as you hope.
Aw. All right. So I think it's time for some more urban legends. Are you guys ready for that? Last time during the urban legends segment, we had the bunny man. This time, we have a frog man.
God.
Slippy?
Our first story takes us to Loveland, Ohio. On the night of March 3rd, 1972, around the time of 1 a.m., a police officer named Ray Shockey was driving down Riverside Lane near the Little Miami River when he caught a strange sight illuminated by his headlights. Shockey described the creature as being 3 to 4 feet long, with leathery skin, and judging its weight to be around 50 to 70 pounds. Shockey said the creature was crouched like a frog before it stood erect and retreated into the river. The first sighting of the Loveland Frogman first occurred around 1955 when stories started spreading of a traveling businessman sighting the creature one lonely night in the month of May. The businessman's description of the creature matched Officer Shockey's, 3 to 4 feet long, with leathery skin and a frog face. In some variations of the story, the businessman saw a group of 3 frog people. Back in 1972, fellow officer Mark Matthews had a second sighting of Frogman near the location of the first sighting. Matthews shot the crouching creature, stuffed it into his trunk of his car, and showed it to Officer Shockey. Both officers concluded that the creature was a large iguana that was missing a tail. That hasn't stopped the legend of the Loveland Frogman from spreading, with sightings coming as late as 2016. So, gentlemen, frogmen, alien or not, Thomas, go.
I don't think so. It just sounds like a large lizard. They even we shot it. The guy's looking like, yeah, it's a lizard, dude.
Jared, Frogman versus Bunnyman. Who you got?
I'm gonna go with Bunny Man. He's a little more brutal.
got-
He's not afraid to just walk around with what did he have, an axe or a machete?
Yeah, an axe.
You don't know what he's using it for. He could be chopping veggies. His carrots.
And a human head. So there you go.
That's true.
Multi-purpose.
Michael, have you ever seen an iguana run on its hind legs?
Yeah, I don't know if there's an iguana, but there's that video of the one that runs across the water, that lizard thing. I love that video. What was the dude's name that you said?
Shockey?
Shockey.
Officer?
Yeah.
Ray Shockey?
Ray Shockey, yeah. Fake name, obviously. He made up the whole thing.
It's true.
You immediately, when you hear that name, you're like, oh, yeah, sure, this guy's a loony bin. Writing down the first thing comes into his mind, then he's like, oh, yeah, there's this lizard and a half frogman thing, and it was crazy. Yeah.
See, my theory is he did see a frogman, because iguanas don't run on their hind legs like that lizard Michael was saying.
Aren't those called the Jesus lizards or something like that?
Probably.
Because they can run on water.
Yeah.
So what I think is happening is Ray was like, dang, there's a walking frogman over there. But then the other officer came in with the iguana story, and Ray was kind of taking some he's taking some beef from his fellow community members. Like, that guy believes in frogman. So he's like, yeah, it was that giant iguana. Exactly, that's what I saw. So I think he made up seeing the iguana when he really did see the frogman.
Or the local zoo's monitor lizards got out and they're just running.
On their hind legs?
Yeah, they're just like, gotta get out of here.
And no tail.
Joseph, when you're in captivity for a while, you're gonna run as fast as you can.
Don't monitor lizards run on their hind legs?
They fight on their hind legs. They don't.
Oh, okay.
Creepy.
Okay, so our second story takes us back to the land of pop music. According to a legend, a murder can be heard during the song "Love Roller Coaster" by R&B band The Ohio Players. In 1975, the Ohio Players released the album Honey to Mercury Records. Love Roller Coaster is the sixth track of the flip side of the album, became a #1 hit and is frequently used in ads even today. However, observant fans have noticed a high-pitched scream at the 2-minute 32-second mark of the album version of this song. This has led to the legend that the recording booth had recorded someone being murdered during the song. Rumors spread that that voice belonged to model Esther Corbett, who appeared on the cover of the album and was said to be murdered by someone involved in the band. Fueling the rumors, the band remained silent on the legend, hoping that the rumors would help sell more records. So, gentlemen, we can't really play this because we'll get a copyright strike. So if you guys want to look at Love Roller Coaster at the 2.32 minute, we'll get your opinions of this. But first, Jared.
Hold on, I'm gonna listen to it.
Okay, Jared wants to listen to it.
How dare you, Jared?
Michael or Thomas, what do you think? Do you think Okay, you all know Love Roller Coaster, right?
No.
You don't know that song? You would know it if
I probably would know it. Yeah.
But I say
I'm bad with names.
It sounds familiar, and it's one of those songs that probably like has played all the time. You're like, oh yeah, that's.
It's the one that goes roller coaster.
That's not helping us, Joseph.
Okay, we got Jared on the case. He's at the 2.32 minute mark.
That is a scream.
It is a scream. I listened to it earlier.
I just heard that song in Smart Guy because I was rewatching that, and it's the one where he's like getting baggy clothes to impress that girl because she's all street and she has baggy clothes and stuff like that. Anyway, that song's in there. I didn't hear the scream in the show.
What you just listened to the scream. It looks like Michael might be trying to get on there. So Jared, in your opinion, was that a scream of murder or was that a scream?
It's honestly just sounds like a sample that they took from something.
You think someone sampled it?
Yeah, you know how musicians or some songs put like movies or sound effects.
Scream in there.
Yeah, just a recording of actual people on roller coasters.
To me, it sounds a little too high pitched to be a murder scream because, like, a murder scream would be ah. But this one, it kind of sounds like she's belting it out. But Michael, did you listen to it?
Do we know how this Esther person died?
We don't. I couldn't find any information on this person.
I was gonna say because if she was stabbed, we all know from Christopher Lee in Lord of the Rings that you don't scream when you're stabbed. You go. So none of that. It also doesn't sound like it sounds like a car skidding across the street or something to me. So. Not gonna say
it was the car the whole time.
But the story sounds like a Psych episode, so I'm kind of down to make a short film out of it.
I will admit it is a intriguing story. If it's attached to a record, that would probably like boost sales.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Can't see why you wouldn't be like, yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Wait up.
There has been rumors of like other stuff going on during recordings, but not dying. I don't know if you guys know those ones, but I think
I know the Guns N' Roses one, which is hilarious.
GNR about something naughty going on.
Pretty gross, to be honest with you.
But yeah, the model. There's been other rumors about the model from this album. I don't know why. The album's called Honey, and it has like this lady dipping honey on herself.
Oh my!
And the rumor was she actually died from honey poisoning. If you believe that,
is that a possibility?
I don't know. I don't think so. I've never heard of people dying of honey poisoning, but that was one of the rumors.
Gotta get Winnie Pooh in the case.
So our third story in the era, urban legends have evolved into creepypasta. So now we go
Michael,
back.
those are scary stories on the internet.
So now we go back to one of the OGs. Following story showed up on a creepypasta website posted by a user named Orange Soda. The legend goes that in 1947, 5 Soviet prisoners were sealed in a gas chamber with a stimulant being pumped into the room to keep the prisoners awake. The prisoners were told that they would be given their freedom if they could stay awake for 30 days. The prisoners behaved normal for over 5 days, but after the 9th day, one of them began screaming uncontrollably for hours, so long that he tore his vocal cords. After a second prisoner started screaming, the remaining prisoners blocked out the windows from the researchers and went completely silent, except to signal to the researchers that they were still alive.
That was the scream in the song.
Fun fact.
On the 15th day, the researchers turned off the stimulant and entered the gas chambers to a scene of horror. One of the subjects had been killed and his body cannibalized. The remaining subjects had mutilated themselves and were living in a pool of blood and water. I don't know what that was. They were shown to have developed super strength in resistance to anesthesia and sedatives, and were terrified to go to sleep for fear of death. Military officers ordered the subjects return to the chamber and for the experiments to resume. Before the chamber could be sealed, one of the researchers pulled out a gun and shot the other researchers and subjects, leaving only one alive. The researcher asked the last subject what they had become. The subject responded by saying that they were the inherent evil that was kept inside the human mind and was kept at bay by sleeping. The researcher shot the subject after this response, with the subject saying almost free with its dying breath. So, gentlemen, this one is known as the Russian sleep experiment. Thomas, you're shaking your head. You probably have heard this one
Several times, yes.
What do you
one
think
of the first ones I've
This
ever
was like, I remember distinctly when me and Jared first heard this one. It was with our friend Johnny. It was like at what 2, 3 in the morning, something like that.
Yeah.
And we were in our living room, like our original apartment, by the way. So this is that far back. And
Did you immediately go to sleep after that?
well, that's the thing. We were about to head to sleep. He's like, "I want to show you something." We're like, "What?" And he shows us this video. He's like, "Wait, this is too scary." So he like, as like this really creepy rendition of the song is going on, he has a slideshow of kittens playing just to make sure that we didn't get too scared. And I think it was partly for him too, because he had to sleep in the living room. And you remember that living room? It got pretty dark in there. And so, yeah, I love this story. I kind of wish it was true. I've actually done some, not research, but like I've got into this video a lot, and it's completely made up, but it's a really interesting story. It has a really good premise, and yeah, this is one of my favorite stories. I love this one.
Michael, I'm sure you haven't heard of this story, right?
No, I have not.
I can send you the link to a few readings, and they're very good.
Now, you see, the thing about all of this is you call something creepy pasta. It has nothing to do with pasta. I'm just disappointed because I love pasta.
There are some that have pasta in them.
I've never heard of the pasta ones.
The second thing we need to draw attention to is, Joseph, turn to your left a little bit. No, your whole body. No, not that far, not that far. So Joseph's, okay, go back to how you were. Joseph's position in this, where how the light's hitting him, he looks so photoshopped into this background that he does not look real in the
His background looks like a green screen.
I was like that light coming across his right shoulder. I was like, there's no way he's really there, is he?
3 different light sources hitting him, but not the back.
What's
going on?
I was so confused. I was like, so aliens have Joseph apparently. And they're allowing him to join us today, so I appreciate that. But yeah, no pasta, no deal, man. Get the creepy, blood-bathing Supermen out of here.
That's Olive Garden's new slogan. No pasta, no deal.
Jared, what's your opinion on pasta?
I like some retellings of this where like the whole experiment is to like contact the other side, like the afterlife. and they contact the wrong side, I guess you would say, and talk to demons and whatever. But I don't know. When I first heard it, it was pretty creepy, but creepypastas were pretty new back then. So
That's true. Like this was like about the same time me and you got into Slender Man.
Yeah,
yeah,
it was
And
around that time.
because me and Jared like watched a lot of videos on Slender Man and that one weird Finnish one or whatever, how he like Slenderman,
Uh-huh.
like it was like a faux documentary of it. It was a lot of fun to watch. But I've gone through this one a lot, and it's not as scary as that first time. That
yeah.
first time I was like genuinely terrified.
So I've been going through creepypastas again, and have you ever read Jeff the Killer again? That
Yeah.
is horrendous.
That is like cringe. That's like
Is
Yeah.
that
that's
the
like
kid
Tumblr.
one?
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Okay.
that's part of one, like the Smiling Man or whatever too. And
Did you say
The
this is
more-
like a Tumblr?
this is like the cringiest Tumblr post you've ever heard. Like
What's
it's bad.
more entertaining is like the history behind the picture, because
this
no one
one?
really no of
Oh.
Jeff the Killer, because no one can actually pinpoint the origin of it. They just like variations.
So this
Um,
one actually has a creepy picture that goes with it, but people know what it is. It's like a Halloween decoration
Yeah.
that was going
Yeah.
around back then.
It's a cool photo though. Like the way it's, especially the black and white ones, it looks like a Soviet era photo.
Like before you heard the story and like heard this before, that picture with this story is terrifying.
Yeah. Well,
Thus the need for the kittens.
I got
saying.
some extra stuff on sleep deprivation. So the current record for non-sleep is 18 days and 17 hours by Maureen Weston, who was in a rocking chair contest. I didn't know they had rocking chair contests, but she
Jesus.
stayed up 18 days for that. The most documented case of sleep deprivation is Randy Gardner, who stayed awake for 11 days. The researchers in that experiment found that Gardner suffered from moodiness, impairment in concentration and short-term memory, paranoia, hallucinations, and insomnia in later life. While there have been many claims of longer sleep deprivation, any studies of sleep deprivation would be seen as unethical, and most studies are limited to patients suffering with insomnia. Extreme insomnia is found to cause death after 7 to 36 months. So, not cool. Yeah, Thomas?
So, what is y'all's record for longest you've stayed up?
2 days. I haven't.
Yeah, probably just like that.
I have the opposite of insomnia. I can't stay awake.
Mine's 3, and like I guess it's like 2.5 because like I fell asleep on the third day, like I just kind of passed out.
On the third day, he slept.
He didn't
Yeah.
rise.
Yeah, it wasn't. That's the thing, is that I was like, because it was back when I was working like 4 or 5 jobs or something like that, and I had one shift after the other, so I just kind of kept going, and then I sat down for like 20 something minutes, and I just went.
I like
The key is don't
symptom-
stop.
I like the first symptom is moodiness. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
grumpy.
The man is
mad.
upset.
Well, have you seen Sword Art Online Abridged?
Yeah, like the first episode.
Well, the reason why they like the whole like grand scheme of the whole thing is like, so it comes down to like the meeting, like the creator of the game. It's like, so why did you do all this? It's like, I'm gonna be honest, is because it was the game development and I had been conscious for about 2.5 weeks. And I'm not gonna lie, I did not know what I was doing, because like I had a string of consciousness that didn't end for 2 weeks. Like you don't know the horrors that I saw.
I think my record's only like a day, but when
That's
I was
it?
yeah, when I was sick, I got very little sleep, like for a week, where I'd only sleep for like 2 hours a night. So that really bothered. I mean, if I
just a
learned
Tuesday.
anything, it's people can stay up for a really long time, even on a little bit of sleep. But it doesn't feel good. Like doesn't feel good at all.
Like this past job I did in DFW, I stayed up for about 2 days. That was, and driving. That was the scary part. I was driving during all that.
Not
See,
about
I can't drive at all when I'm sleepy because I will go to sleep.
You will. Oh,
There was
that
a
brings
lot of
up a story
there was a lot of metal
about
playing.
about a friend we had.
Mm.
We were okay. It was late at night. We were at Whataburger. For people who don't know, that's
Oh
a
yeah.
burger place in Texas that everyone loves, except
It's like
for
you
Michael.
said murder place.
Oh.
That
it's
too.
And it's pronounced Waterburger.
No, it's not.
Michael
Here
hates
it is
it.
anyway.
Michael's the only
They have good onion rings. I'll allow
Texas
that.
living person that hates whatever.
Yeah.
Great onion rings.
Best onion rings.
The only thing good on their menu. Sorry.
But
Their shakes are all right.
okay, so Thomas, you were there, right?
I was there.
Okay, so I think it was 4 of us. I can't remember the 4th guy. Maybe Richard.
Richard.
Richard, yeah.
So during our bachelor pad years, we used to stay up real late, and then we'd go to Whataburger because it's the only place open. So we were there late one night, just
Like
eating.
1, 2 a.m., something like that.
Yeah, and our other friend was coming over. He just had got off work or something. So we see his car driving down the road, and we're watching him, and he doesn't turn into Whataburger. He turns at the next intersection and goes to Walmart. So we were expecting him, but he never showed up. So I think Jared called him the next day. He's like, "What happened to you?" He's like, "I never went over there." So
No, I thought we called him that night, and he's like, "I'm asleep."
Yeah, he's like, "I'm asleep."
Oh.
We're like, "What?" And you could clearly, and he turned around, and he actually did come into the Walmart parking lot.
yeah,
But he turned around and went into the the Whataburger parking lot, and then he went into Walmart because Walmart was across the street, and we saw him. We're like, there he is.
yeah.
Where's he going? Because he also drove a very distinct car. Nobody else had this. And we're just like, well, and we could also see him in the driver's seat. We're like, where's he going?
I wasn't there, but I have no question of who this was.
And that's our story of
That's pretty good,
insomnia.
Weirdly enough, I just finished a whole lecture for school about sleepwalking, and apparently people killed during their sleepwalking too.
Yeah.
So I have questions where he went to Walmart that night.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh God.
Well, that's going to do it for That's Weird Stuff this time. This one, I picked this last story because it kind of fits into our theme for the next month. So I will see you guys next month. And please subscribe, and notify yourself for even more good stuff. And we will catch you next time. See ya.